Okay. Welcome again. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I think it's a good thing we got the speaker system, Bill, with the lawnmower behind you. So awesome turnout. Appreciate all our friends and colleagues and partners for being here. I want to welcome you. My name's Jim Wallis. I'm the Missouri Director of Business Development for Chestnut Health Systems. And this is our open house. 15 months after we opened the house, here we are. Thank you, COVID. But appreciate you being here. We've got a few esteemed individuals that are going to make a few comments, and then we're going to have a ribbon cutting. And I'm going to have I'll do that orchestrating on who we get up here for the ribbon cutting. But again, thank you. And my first guest who's going to make a few comments is the Honorable Judge DARRELL MISSEY, and has become a good friend and a good partner in Jefferson County. And so thank you, Judge, for talking.
Thanks, Jim. Well, it's great to see all of you. I was walking across from the courthouse and I saw all these cars here, and I thought there haven't been that many cars in this parking lot ever. Maybe ever. It's really a great thing. And you know, you see a lot when you've been in a town as long as I have here. I mean, I came here as a young lawyer in about 400 some odd days. It'll be 30 years ago. And I've now been on the bench in 400 some odd days. It'll be 20 years. And we've seen a lot of things happen. We've seen a lot of growth, right? But we've also seen a lot of growth in need. And I think we've seen it. And if you've every once in a while, you got all this need, sometimes somebody shows up and you say to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're here. And I think I feel that way about Chestnut. I feel that way about Jim. You know, Jim and I we met before this. Actually, you know, because we're both involved in juvenile justice. We were at a juvenile justice fundraiser here over at the Cave, over at Crystal City Underground, and they ran a 5K in there. That was a bad idea. It was a terrible idea because all these people, you know, were churning up all that dust and you could hardly breathe. But the real interesting part of that was he got his little headlamps, right? And this is where I first met Jim. We didn't even know. Oh, yeah, I remember you now. You were there at this run. They told us to wear our old shoes because our feet might get wet. There is some water. Okay, so we're running along. I thought there was going to be some water. And all of a sudden, I'm not the fastest guy, right? So I'm hearing the screams in front of me. And I get up there and I found the water. And I hit the water, and then the water kept coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. I was like, whoa, you know. And so the water it was like I joined the Marines in there. And so I actually went hiking this week, and I walked through Cordaway Creek, and I thought of you, Jim, because I thought this is like the Cave. This is like that. So, you know, but we were glad that they were there, and we're glad now that they're here because you know what our needs are. I mean, you folks, I look around here, and there are a lot of community leaders, people trying to do stuff for people, and you know, we don't have enough help. There's been always like when. You know, how do we fill the needs? How does any one agency, how does any one group of people, how does anybody fill these needs? And we know we can't. We can't do it by ourselves, but we can do things together. So what I love about Chestnut being here is I feel like we got a new member of the team. And we got somebody else who's coming to give us a hand, to work with us, to work with other agencies, for us all to work together. And, you know, the fact that he's in the schools, I did truancy court all that time. I know what the needs are there. I've got, you know, what our criminal defendants face. Right, Tracy? We know what the needs are. We know what the needs are there. And I will tell you, I'm not a person with a whole bunch of answers, but I am profoundly familiar with the problems. And I know the more help we have, the better. I know that they've done great service for us already. I think they're going to be a great partner for us all going forward. And I just want to say to you, welcome. However long after you've been here, you squatter. You come and stay here. Welcome. You're no longer a trespasser. We've welcomed you. Welcome. We're glad you're here, and we look forward to working with you all in the future. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Judge. That race was Missouri Juvenile Justice Association. I was on the board at the time, and we called it "Freezing for a Reason." And there's some truth into what Judge Missey said. My next guest will say a few words is our CEO, Dave Sherrar. And known Dave about 5 years, and appreciate him coming down and being here today. So, Dave.
Well, as the judge said, we're really thrilled to be part of the team here in Hillsboro, and somehow Chestnut. We're based in Illinois, but I've been telling my new Missouri friends here today that there are more Cardinal fans at Chestnut than Cub fans, and so we have a large operation on the Metro East Side, and Jim really helped bridge the gap and cross the river, and we're really excited to be part of the Hillsboro community. We want to become enmeshed here. We don't want to duplicate what exists and is working well. We just want to complement with services that you really need, and we're really excited to be part of this team. One of our strategic plan objectives at Chestnut is to partner and collaborate, and this is a perfect example here today. So thank you, and thank you for coming out, and we look forward to helping people make changes that they need to make.
Thank you, Dave. And one of his comments is we're here to complement and not duplicate. And I know a few people in this crowd will know an analogy that was given to me by a friend of mine, Dr. Carl Wilson, ran Kreider Compass Health. And he used the analogy of fire hose against a brick wall. And when we're at capacity, and you may have a need, but it's just so much. It's like coming out of a fire hose. So how do we work together with our partners is critical for us to be a success. So I'm now going to turn it over to our. I call him, nobody else probably does, but our St. Louis Metro Board of Directors member, Dennis WILMSMEYER, and I appreciate him taking the time to come down and say a few words.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon. A little louder. Come on, good afternoon. This is a great day, fantastic day for being here. So, Dave, thanks again for having me here. I appreciate the invitation. Jim, unbelievable. The weather, everything worked out, and a dinner bell at noon, that was nice too. Nice touch. We appreciate that. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you all for being here today to enjoy this special event for us. Chestnut, for those who really aren't that familiar with Chestnut, continues to do great things in and around the area. In Granite City alone, which is where I work, not at Chestnut itself, but just down the street, primary care for patients and incredible treatment for substance abuse and use goes on a daily basis. With COVID, depression, anxiety, and others, and I don't have to tell you all, getting the help now is more important than ever before. Chestnut prides itself on making sure that help is there when it's needed. I want to talk just a little bit about some of the great things that Chestnut has done in and around the area, and I'm so happy now that we're in Missouri and operating here as well. This past summer, Chestnut was awarded the 2020 annual Belleville, Illinois Chamber Award for expanding mental health services to the residents of St. Clair County, securing federal grants from the Office of Victims of Crime to treat youth exposed to and affected by their parents' use of opioids, creating a certified community behavioral health clinic, and for establishing a therapeutic case management model for youth reentering the community from the juvenile justice system. So broad of things that they do, and it's just tremendous how we have expanded, and really thanks to Jim for what he's done in bringing these services also to Missouri. But a lot of what Chestnut does never receives any hype or accolades. That's why days like today are so appreciated. One recent project did become a little more high profile, and that was when Chestnut partnered with Metrolink, downtown St. Louis, to ride the trains in both Illinois and Missouri to identify homeless or those individuals who may need community services, and to get them directly in touch with those providers. This program really has kicked off. It's a one-year pilot project, but I'll tell you what, it has already made great strides in identifying and helping those individuals who are most in need. Finally, I just want to recognize today some other great Chestnut partners who are here with us. Mr. Dana Rosenzweig, Executive Director of the St. Clair County Mental Health Board. Dana, there you are. Dr. Valerie Griffin from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. And Dr. Melissa Bogle from SIUE. These are all great community partners for Chestnut, and I really appreciate them and you all being here today. Jim, turn it back to you.
I asked Dennis to recognize my Illinois friends, just the fact that they crossed that river and came to Missouri, and truly appreciate. They've been good partners, but I think their example of what we've done in St. Clair and Madison County are examples of what we can and are doing here already. Dave and Dennis said they were going to talk like a minute or 45 seconds, so I said, well, that's good, so then I can talk for the next 30 minutes, if you guys are cool with that, or I can shorten it, too, because Amy thinks it's going to rain, so I better roll. But I did want to say, you know, the foundation, Jefferson Foundation, came to us in 2019 and said, hey, are you interested? We have a need. You know, the providers in Jefferson County are at capacity with behavioral health services. Would you be interested in applying to provide those services and help complement and be part of the village? And I said, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm so glad to be here. We opened this, as I mentioned, this office in June of 2020. So 15 months later, we're here having an open house. And 6 months ago, I thought for sure that this would be all done and over with completely, and it's not. But the Missouri Project Access team, which I'll recognize in a minute, are used to the curveballs, because every single service that we've provided since being in Jefferson County has been during this pandemic. One of my friends, Dr. John Isaacson, who was supportive of us coming over and providing a staff in his school to address mental health issues, we hired our first staff in March of 2020. The following week, just a couple days later, school shut down for the rest of the year. So every single thing that we've done has been during this pandemic, so we're ready. And we have to stay on our toes and be ready for the curveballs, and how do we work smarter, not harder? How do we collaborate? And so that's what we've been doing. And to that effect, over the last 20 months, 781 individuals have been helped by Chestnut Services. 781. Almost half, 45%, have been school-based youth and their families. 30% have been adult services that are happening right here in the office that I'm talking about today, and 25% have been our medication prescribing, not only for adults but for youth who sometimes wait weeks, sometimes months to get in to see a psychiatrist. I will say, and I know I've got community partners here with me, if there's any positive to the pandemic, it's the loosening of some telehealth laws that have allowed us to serve more during this crisis, and lives have been saved because of it. And now the advocacy to make sure it just doesn't go back to the way it was, because I think more lives can be saved because of the telehealth laws. Project Access is to provide access. So an example of that is our walk-in clinic. So since February, we've had a walk-in clinic here at this site. It is every Tuesday morning from 9 to noon. Probation, parole, treatment court, walk-ins from other places show up, and they are immediately assessed, get a drug screen, get connected with the counselor, and to date, over the last 6 months, we've served over 100 that have walked in, gotten assessed, got screened, and got connected to care. And I think the bigger factor than the 100 served is 80% of those individuals are still engaged. They're engaged because they were immediately engaged in services. They didn't have to wait 6 months for that appointment that they never show back up to. So that's a real time example of the Project Access staff and what they're doing to make a difference in this community. So I wanted to give a shout out to Project Access for the walk-in clinic. Real quickly, I'm going to try, and I know I'll miss somebody, so my apologies. You can kick me later. I'll miss somebody, but I wanted to recognize a few folks in the crowd today. Chestnut senior leadership, Amy Gabert, my partner over here in Missouri. She's our Executive VP of Integrated Care. And Matt Mollenhauer, our Chief Clinical Officer over there, my boss, so say nice things. Our Missouri Project Access Team, raise your hand and keep them up. Project Access Team that's here in the trenches every day, in the schools, in this building, doing clinical work. And then the guy I get the pleasure of supervising, Bill back there, wave Bill. He's the man of many hats and helps me out greatly, and I wouldn't be anywhere without him. And then we have a village, an army of Chestnut folks that came over from other offices that help support, and I see you out in the crowd, but if you could just wave the whole Chestnut team, everybody here. Dennis Gannon, our county executive. Are you still here, Dennis? Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support and interest and passion. Judge Daugherty, I know I saw you, and over there with Judge Missey, thanks to you for your support. Our school superintendents, and I've done this 32 years in St. Charles, Lincoln, over in Illinois, and I can't, maybe on a couple fingers, name superintendents. I didn't have a relationship. In Jefferson County, they're in the weeds, they're in the trenches, they're getting stuff done. Clint Johnston, Clint Freeman, Dr. John Isaacson. I know we were going to have somebody here from Windsor. Desi, see, I told you. Keep pointing, people. And I know DeSoto's a great partner of ours. I don't know if Josh made it or not, but appreciate everything you've done. This is a true community partnership. Jackie Brown from the Health Department, thank you for being here. You've been my partner from day one, so appreciate that. And I see Mayor Russell here. Thank you for being here, Mayor Russell. Appreciate it. I did want to give a shout out to a couple of other community partners. We've served 32 individuals since the first of this year with medicated assisted treatment. That's a best practice. That's getting folks meds that can help them and coupling that with counseling. We've got a partnership with Assisted Recovery Centers of America. Not sure if they made it, but they do make a difference every day in helping us save lives. Great Minds Healthcare down in Potosi. I know Greg and Rebecca are here somewhere. Thank you for your partnership. And then I've got two, last but not least, I've got two individuals that are part of foundations that have supported us. So the Fighting Chance Foundation with Jewel and Karen Kelly, and I see Billy here. Thank you for your support. And then Debbie, my friend Debbie. I've known Debbie for a long time. Katie Hessler Foundation, they do amazing work with at-risk youth all over the St. Louis metro area. And they didn't blink last year and said, hey, how can we support you? So we did, Clint and some other schools, we did the buddy bags, the care bags with Debbie last year, and appreciate your support. It takes a village. It takes a team. So thank you again. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I'm going to leave you with some sobering numbers that aren't so thrilling. But last year in 2020, 70,000 overdose deaths were in the United States. 70,000 people died of drug overdoses in the United States. A lot of that has to do with COVID and stressors, but a lot of that was happening even before the pandemic. But in Missouri, from 2019 to 2020, there was a 19% increase in drug overdose deaths. Also, deaths by suicide have increased, mental health issues. We're just now beginning to feel the ripple effects of the pandemic, and as we slowly come out of the pandemic, we also are going to be dealing with mental health issues and substance use issues for a long time. So again, it takes a village, it takes funding, it takes creativity. It does not take treatment as usual. And so that's what we're not. I'm going to leave you with one quote, and I like it, so I'm going to share it. If I can get to my... It's a German philosopher, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and I like it, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it to you twice because I believe it. We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or omit to do, and more in the light of what they suffer. We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or omit to do, and more in the light of what they suffer. And there's a lot of suffering going on, but there's a lot of help, and there's a lot of people here today that are going to make a difference moving forward. So thank you again. I'm going to invite the Chamber of Commerce, Mandy and her team, up for the ribbon cutting ceremony at this point. I'm also going to invite my Missouri Project Access team to get up here and be part of the picture, at least be in the front row. And then anybody else that wants to join Chestnut team, I want you to be a part of this picture. I'm not going to, well, I will say it because Mandy said it. She said she's not seen a bigger ribbon cutting in a long, long time. So that makes me feel really good about you all showing up today. So thank you. And
I assume you'll be cutting the ribbon. Is that right?
no, I think I might want to have those cut. I'll stand next to you. Bill, over here.
Do you want everyone here in this picture? Where do you want us, Jim?
Anywhere behind the ribbon.
We're
Anywhere.
Okay.
can't hide behind the balloons.
Oh, darn it. So where are we, front and
Hey,
center?
Dave and Dennis, come up here somewhere. We can back up and get you in the picture. Matt, Amy,
Do you?
I don't want to have to drag you.
Why don't we move? Can we move up some?
I'm a short person, so I can stand from here.
You're gonna help me. Come on. You're the guy getting stuff done. You guys agree? All right. Now, Patty, you orchestrate this. Yeah. Can we? That's this guy's camera there. Can we move that? All right. She said we can move that. He said we can move that. Yeah, you, Teresa. Come on, Jim. All right. Come on, get over here. All right, Manny, tell me if it's looking good. Are we doing
Yes.
good?
And those
We
really
say
cut.
anything?
Just make sure you get it up in there. We'll speak after.
Get it up in there.
There you go.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Can we say something?
Yes. I'm going to let Mandy with the Hillsboro Chamber say a couple words here.
Good afternoon. I'm Mandy with the Hillsboro Chamber, and like he said, this is probably the largest group we've seen, and I've been with the Chamber for 20 years, so thank you all for coming, and we just want to say thank you to Chestnut for investing in our community, and also thank you to all of the partners to Chestnut. What you're doing here for the people in our community and even wider than our community is fantastic, and there is a need for it. So thank you so much for attending today, and thank you, Chestnut, and we hope to have you around for a lot longer and a lot easier job for you, hopefully, as we move forward than you've had the last 15 months with the pandemic. Thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming. I did get a note. We still have sandwiches. I know people eating sandwiches, but we have a delicious cake too. So do not leave until you get a piece of that cake. We do not want to be taking all of that home. Really good cake, food, drinks. Hang out for a little bit. It hasn't started raining yet, so thank you.